So Boogiepop episode 4 is finally here. This is technically the third week since Boogiepop started to air from Winter of Anime 2019. And so this is a perfect time for many to come to the conclusion if they want to continue watching or if they want to stop watching Boogiepop. And so I want to ask all of you, now that we're 4 episodes in, technically 3 if we're counting episode 1 and 2 as one single episode, since we are 3 weeks into the series, how do you feel about it? Do you think that this series was worth the hype? Do you think that this is a series that is worth your time watching with everything else that has come out from this season? That is a question I want to ask before I get into anything else, before I talk about this episode. I just want to ask. Anime onlys or just people in general that are watching this, even if you've, read the original source or whatever, how do you feel about this series? Do you think it is good? With that out of the way, let us begin. So episode 4 of Boogiepop is here, and it starts a new arc. And from what I theorized in my first, 2 reviews of Boogiepop, it seems like it is the case. It seems like we are going to be getting the conclusion first, and then getting the build-up to the conclusion. Because the episode opens up with Boogiepop talking to the Imaginator. And from the entire dialogue, it seems like a lot has happened between the two characters, and we get a lot of context, like some, elements to the story, like, how she's an Imaginator, how she's someone that can, control things or whatever, control death itself. We got a little bit of, answers and stuff, or questions throughout this episode, both actually, and it was clear as day by the way the beginning of the episode that was the conclusion of the arc. But then, as soon as the conclusion of the arc was, done at the beginning of the episode, we go straight to the beginning of the, story, and we go into the events that led up to that starting point of the episode. So, what exactly is going on? Let's clarify. So, looking at this episode, I think this arc is a hell of a lot more simple or simplistic compared to the first 3 episodes. And the reason why I say that is because just the style of the, episode 1 and 2 was very weird. Like, the way it just went into things, it could definitely throw many for a loop, especially as a presentation for a story. It could turn many off. I even talked about this saying because how mysterious it was or how it was, it's not something that many are really used to watching because of how unique it is or different it is for an anime to air. And so, like I said, most people probably, if they, don't like Boogiepop or not really interested, probably already dropped it because of the introduction of the story. And if you made it this far, most likely the confusing storyline to the twist or whatever, or the, the ending being at the beginning of the arc, I think that's not really going to bug many people at this point. But the point still stands, though, is that this episode was a hell of a lot more simple. Like, it was easier to follow, and I was able to understand kind of the context of the story. So what is it about? Let's talk about it. So, from what I gathered, the girl in question that is causing problems in the world, causing humanity to have problems, and Boogiepop is trying to intervene and stop it. This girl, the Imaginator, or Suiko, or whatever her name is, if I'm saying her name wrong, forgive me. So the Imaginator is someone that could see death, and she believes that everybody can change death. Like, she wants to change the world's viewpoint on death itself and intervene in the way the world works. And so she could see different outcomes of individual people, which explains the teacher and how he changed slowly throughout the episode. But she's also someone, like I said, can kind of mess with death itself. Now, besides that little detail, we also found out that the Imaginator, she's actually, quote-unquote, dead. Like, she is legitimately dead. She is no longer in the world of the living. And the reason why we know this is because at the beginning of the episode, we found out, and even at the end of the episode, or in the middle, we found out that the Imaginator, she's like a spirit, a soul that is just in limbo. She is someone that has not decided where to go, like heaven or hell or anything. She hasn't decided on anything. She legit is just wandering around in the world and trying to use her own powers, the concept of knowing what death is or seeing death and then being able to see the different outcomes, using that to her advantage to be able to manipulate the world and change it into what she wants. Now, if I had to assume anything on how she was able to survive, like for instance be in a soul-like state like she is right now, even after Boogiepop apparently went after her, I'm assuming the reason why she is because of her ability, or the power she was born with to begin with. Well, like I said, it was stated that she's able to see death itself. She believes that all of humans can control their death. She sees many different outcomes. And so because of this, I think with that power, when she died, she was able to somehow maintain her grip on reality or the world and still be there and be able to possess individuals and take control of them for a limited amount of time to be able to do the work she wants to do. In this case, she's kind of like a spirit that needs to move on. She's a spirit that just holds so much attachment to the world she doesn't want to let go, and Boogiepop needs to somehow get rid of that attachment, allow her to stop being so attached and move on to the afterlife. I think that's the main objective, for her to be at peace. Now, what happened to the sensei? So, to kind of clarify, it is revealed that individuals are born with different powers in this series. Now, we know Boogiepop, from what was established in the first arc, is that Boogiepop is a creature or a being that pops out when humanity is facing a crisis. And Boogiepop literally uses the full extent of the human body or mind. And basically there's a lot of restrictions and locks on the human brain or the body itself. And Boogiepop kind of unlocks all of this to be able to use everything that she possibly can to be able to win in these encounters. For instance, what she did with the Manticore in, the last episode. And in this case, it's, kind of obvious that there's been abilities, at least from Boogiepop we've seen this established, but now we can see people can be, with abilities, born with abilities, and just go about their day-to-day life, and seeing the sensei or the teacher or whatever, trying to figure out a way to use his power for the sake of good, is a fascinating viewpoint to this episode, because, he's someone that could see the heart of individuals. He could see their heart in the shape of a rose. And from his description in this episode, he states that every individual, every person that he's come in contact with, they all are missing something. If it is the girl that obviously has a crush on him, she's missing the petal itself, the flower bud. Or, some people are missing the roots, some people are probably missing their leaves. Every individual person that he comes in contact with has, something missing. Which basically states one of the big points of humanity itself. Humans, they're not satisfied. We are never satisfied as creatures. And I think that's kind of what the main message is here of what he was seeing. He was seeing how humanity itself will never be satisfied. Because of what we are as creatures, how we always seek more. We will never be satisfied. And that was what was making the teacher so upset, was that there was nothing he could do. He was giving good advice, and he was allowing people to be able to be at ease or happy, but he could never truly get rid of what they want, or, things they're missing. He can never truly give it back. And that's what he said. He realizes his power in some way is a double-edged sword. He could see their problems, and he could kind of dive into it, but he can never replace it. He can never, help it out or fix it completely, because it's just a part of them. They are missing something. And like I said, it goes along with what humanity is in general, and how we're all seeking something. We all want something. We all want more and more. We're never satisfied. I think that's the whole message there, because, think about this. There's sometimes in life people reach a high up there on the mountain. They get to the mountaintop, this is an analogy, okay? They reach the mountaintop, and they get everything. They get wealth, power, everything. Family, love, whatever they desire, they get everything. But when you reach the top, sometimes you want more. You want more. You want to go even higher. And either you get sad and lonely or depressed, or you seek greater heights, but you never will find them. And that's what I think is going on here. I think he wants to find a way to satisfy humans. And so he's now using his power to be able to do that. And so when he attacked those crooks that were, attacking that girl and guy in the alleyway, the reason why he did that, I think he probably realizes the only way to really fix humanity is by ending them. That's what I'm assuming. That's what I'm assuming his motive is. The only true peace they have on their face is probably death. That is my viewpoint on the episode. What conclusion he came to is that if he just removes everything, or, then it's completely fine. They no longer have anything to worry about because they're all dead. And there's nothing else to really worry them or, be upset about, because they're moving on with their life, because they're gone. So yeah, I think that's, what's going on with the story. I don't know, I have a hunch. I have a hunch that that's probably what the girl did to him. And I do like how he's like, you're trying to tempt me. Are you a devil or something? She's like, no, I'm not trying to tempt you. But it's very clear that she was tempting him throughout this episode. Because, you wouldn't come and try to possess multiple people around him if you weren't trying to tempt him to become something heinous. And I also assume that what she was doing is probably coming in contact with people with, abilities to be able to change the world like she wants. For instance, for people to control their outcomes, change different possibilities of death or whatever. I think that's what she's wanting to do. And so I'm assuming she is manipulating or tempting people to persuade them to just change things in their own way. But that's pretty much about it. That's my thoughts on the episode. It's a good episode, a lot of questions and all that. I mean, it was a little bit more straightforward than the previous episodes, but it's still confusing. So I love you guys. You have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. If you enjoy my content, please subscribe. If you like this video, please leave a like. And with that, I love you guys. Chibi out.